Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL segment, I'm going to be giving you my 2019 Week 1 NFL predictions and analysis. So anyway, first game. I'm going to take the Chicago Bears at home over the Green Bay Packers. I understand that Green Bay is seeking their retribution and revenge and all this, but against Chicago. But I mean, Chicago, I do believe, is the better team. They have a likely improved run and kicking game. Anything, their kicking game has to be better than it was last season. And I think their relentless pass rush is going to really make a big difference in this game. Green Bay only 4-12 on the road over the last two seasons. They were sacked. Green Bay was sacked 5 times in that last meeting they had with Chicago. So, I mean, for me, that is something that is very critical, and I think this could be something to really look at in this game in terms of whether Aaron Rodgers is going to get his protection or not. So, I do like Chicago in this one. Chicago did have 27 defensive interceptions last season. So, anyway. Well, the next game, I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns at home to win over the Tennessee Titans. Now, Cleveland has an augmented offense. Of course, they were 5-2-1 at home in 2018. They were 5-2 in their last 7. They were one of the better teams in turnover differential in 2018 as well. It might even be improved in that. So they are also, you look at Tennessee. Now, Tennessee is one of those enigmatic teams. You just don't really know who's going to show up. Is Marcus Mariota going to be good? Is he not going to be so good? Tennessee was number 3 in scoring defense in 2018, just 3-5 on the road last season. But it's because of Tennessee's unpredictability coupled with Cleveland being an improved team. They are a team that's ascending right now. I like Cleveland to win at home. Well, the next game, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to win on the road against the Miami Dolphins. Baltimore, with their ravenous defense, I do think they'll get this done. They were number 1 in total defense last season, one of the better teams in scoring defense as well. I think they might run rampant over Miami. Now, this game, though, I think has potential to be a lot closer than some people think. I think some people think Baltimore's going to go in and annihilate Miami. I'd say not so fast. Miami was actually a formidable home team last season. They were 6-2 at home, and one of the teams they beat at home were the Patriots. And I know I believe they had beaten Chicago as well last season. Now, Miami may have an anemic run defense, but they're still a team that can be reckoned with them. I wouldn't be shocked if Miami pulls this out, but I'm going to take Baltimore and their defense to get this done on the road. Next game. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings to win at home over the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is what I call a game of redemption for both teams. Kirk Cousins, this is it seems to be his make or break year. He said that, he's basically putting the pressure on himself to ascend to new heights this season. He basically said, I have a mediocre record. He put it all on his shoulders. For the Vikings to be successful this season. Coach Zimmer is 4-1 in that last 5 openers. Atlanta, they're seeking, Julio Jones may be seeking a little redemption this season. He may not have had a terrible season, but as far as touchdowns, and it may have been a little bit subpar for him. Now, also, too, Atlanta has lost 4 consecutive openers, I believe, to Minnesota, and I think in the numbers, Minnesota being at home, they may have just gone 8-7-1 last season, but I think they're going to be a little bit better this season. I'm not saying much; they might be like 10-6, and they're good enough to beat Atlanta at home. So I'm taking Minnesota in this one. Well, now the next game that I'd say is fairly compelling. I'm going to take the Jets at home to defeat the Buffalo Bills. I know there's a lot of people think Buffalo's going to win this game, but the Jets, I think, are going to be a little bit rejuvenated. They have an improved offense. They got running back Le'Veon Bell, and also coupled with the progression of quarterback Sam Darnold, I think this will really be something for the Jets in terms of increasing their chances of winning this game and maybe even being a team that can be competitive this season. Now, Buffalo, I mean, averaged about 25 points in their last 7. They were like the resurgent Bills toward the latter part of the second half of that season. They were a better second half team, I'd say, of course, than they were first half team last season. I think they're going to be good enough to make this close. It is a divisional game, but I expect the Jets to come out on this opening day to come out and on all cylinders. It's a revived team. It's a new team having a number of new players, and I expect them to get a win. So I'm taking the Jets at home. Well, the next game, I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to win at home over the Washington Redskins. Now, Philadelphia was one of those resurgent teams last season. They came out, really played with reckless abandonment that latter part of the season. They also have won 4 consecutive against the Redskins. They have dominated the series in recent time, and I don't know if Washington really has enough, just from a simple personnel standpoint, if they're going to be able to do that much in this game. They're going to be on the road. They were a mediocre road team last season, 4-4, which is still adequate, being a divisional game. But I think in this one, I expect Philadelphia to win by 10 points anyway. I think they're going to win fairly decisively. I think Carson Wentz is going to play very well. I like Philadelphia to get this done at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Rams, maybe a little reluctantly, to win this one on the road over the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Rams right now, I mean, they have not looked that stellar from an offensive standpoint in recent time. I am including the 4 preseason games they played and the Super Bowl that they had last season, and they've averaged about 10 points per game over those 5 games. I understand they got Marcus Peters and Aaron Donald. They do have a very strong defense still. I hope the offense can still perform as to what it did last season. And looking at Carolina now, I think quarterback Cam Newton is going to play, but what is his status going to be for the season? He did something in preseason where it made me feel a little skeptical. Like, is he going to be somewhat injury riddled this season? Now, Carolina has won 3 consecutive games against the Rams at home. They have had the Rams number home. I don't think it's necessarily a foregone conclusion that the Rams are going to emerge victorious and win this game, but I do like them just a slight favorite in this one. They're just a little bit better team. They are the defending NFC champions. They're going to go on the road though in this one, but I still think they can get this done, but barely. I think they're going to win it. I think it's going to be a lot closer than some people think. I'm going to take the Rams on the road. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to win this one on the road against Jacksonville. I know it's the Nick Foles era in Jacksonville. They look at Kansas City. I understand their defense was somewhat maligned last season. It was one of the worst as far as total defenses and scoring defense, but they did have a very strong, relentless pass rush. They were right up among the league leaders in defensive sacks. They are a team right now that is certainly has Super Bowl aspirations. They got a new defensive coordinator. They likely will be better on defense this season. Jacksonville, I understand they're revived with their new quarterback, Nick Foles. Nick Foles is a winner. What's going to happen with running back Leonard Fournette in this game, time will tell. Jacksonville also allowed 53 sacks last season. Definitely, I think the main difference could very well be the pass rush of Kansas City against the offensive line of Jacksonville. And I think Kansas City does win that one battle, and I think they will win this game. So I'm taking Kansas City on the road. Now, the next game I'm going to talk about, the Chargers. In this particular matchup, I'm going to take them at home to beat the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Chargers right now, they still have a very, solid defense. Joey Bosa, and it's going to be interesting to see how Jerry Tillery pans out in this one. May improve the defensive line. They're definitely a team to be reckoned with, a team that could be looking at Super Bowl aspirations. Now, Indianapolis, their luck has run out, of course, with the retirement of Andrew Luck. Darvius Leonard is still a bright spot for this team. He was one of the league leaders in tackles last season, but it's just Indy just does not have enough. I understand they got their offense in place. They can make this actually a competitive game, but you're going on the road against one of the superior teams in the league. I just don't see the Colts getting this done. I like the Chargers at home. Hold on a moment, people. Well, next game, I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks at home to defeat the Cincinnati Bengals. Looking at Seattle, I mean, they've dismantled their defense in recent time, losing Richard Sherman, I believe Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor. And this is a team, they still have Coach Carroll. They still have on this team Russell Wilson. I think looking at this as well, they are in heavy linebacker. Bobby Wagner is still a plus on this team. I think he may be an unheralded player in the NFL. They are going to be home. They're still a solid home team. But you look at Cincinnati, they did not finish very good last season. They dropped 7 of their last 8 last season. Their offensive line may be improved, but they are just a really miserable 7-17 on the road over the last 3 seasons. They just cannot, get out of their own way in terms of trying to win on the road. I'm going to take, they're going to need a little more than Andy Dalton and AJ Green in this one to win, and I just don't think they have enough to do it. I'm going to take Seattle to win this one at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to win at home over the New York Giants. Dallas has dominated the Giants in recent time. They're 9-3 over the G-Men in the last 12. They've won 4 consecutive games against them. Dallas, another team that has these Super Bowl aspirations. Jason Witten, as many of you may know, tight end, he unretired and came back. Now, the status of Ezekiel Elliott, aka Zeke, is questionable in this one. I don't know if it's going to make, it's definitely going to impact this game. I think the Giants will make this tight, but the Giants did average about 23 points per game last season, but they're in a little bit of a quarterback quandary. It's a little bit of a I think for me, it could be a distraction to some degree, but their offensive line should be a little bit better, which should make this game somewhat competitive. Getting a right guard, I believe Kevin Zadier, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyway, he is somebody. This is a team, the Giants now, that there's just too many question marks on this team and what's going to be going on with quarterback Eli Manning, and it's it's a season for him. Hopefully, it'll be a season for redemption. As many of you may know, I am a Giants fan, Jets and Giants fan, and I am going to pull for them, but I just don't think they have enough horses to get this done against the Cowboys. So I'm taking the Cowboys at home. Now, the next game I want to talk about is going to be Detroit on the road. I'm going to take them reluctantly to win over the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Detroit, many of you may remember they were demoralized last season at home over the New York Jets. I don't think, now this is going to be a road game, so it might be a little bit tougher for them. Now, they have lost, though. Detroit has lost like 8 of the last 9 at Arizona. They did fare well in the last time they played them last season, just demolishing them 17-3. Arizona was one of the worst. I think they were worst in points per game last season, averaging about 14 per game. No offense to them, right? But they are a team right now that it's going to be it's going to be a tough game, I think, really to pick in this one, because it's really, you got Detroit right now and trying still the second year with this new coach they have, and then you're going into Arizona to try to win this one on the road. I just think they will get this done, though, but barely. I just don't know if Arizona is going to be able to put up enough points to combat what Matt Stafford is going to do on offense. So I'm going to take Detroit to win this one on the road. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about Tampa. This particular matchup, I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win at home over the San Francisco 49ers. Tampa Bay, it's really which team is less worse than the other. It's like a toilet bowl game in this one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season, they're like -18 turnover differential. San Francisco's a -25. it's going to be interesting season with Bruce Arians returning to coaching, and to see what's going to happen, how he's going to work with quarterback Jameis Winston. I think they're going to get the job done. I think it's going to be very tight. Jimmy Garoppolo was San Francisco, the quarterback there. There was some issues with his mechanics during the preseason, according to some report on ESPN, but we'll see how that pans out, and if he actually is able to fix them and rectify them in this game. So we're going to go with San Francisco. I'm going to take Tampa Bay reluctantly in this one. Now, the next game I want to talk about, I'm going to take, we'll see if we can go with New England to win this one at home over the Pittsburgh Steelers. New England in this one, no Gronkowski, I say no problem. New England often has the uncanny ability to improvise. They could get the job done with less than other people can. And I think when you're talking to Julian Edelman, I think he'll be a good substitute. I think he's going to be the go-to guy for Tom Brady. New England was 8-0 last season at home. I mean, they've been nearly invincible at home over the last 3 seasons, actually. So going up against, I mean, in this particular game, Pittsburgh may not even be as good as they were last season with the loss of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. Some people think it's an addition by subtraction, but I'm going to say that it's enough for me to say that New England should emerge victorious in this game. So I'm going to take the Patriots to win this game at home. So the next game I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about well, as far as New Orleans and Houston goes, I'm going to take the Saints at home to win. I think they just have too much offense in this particular game, and I think there will be enough for them to win this game over Houston. I think it's going to be their pass rush is going to make the difference. So I'm going to take New Orleans to win this one over Houston. And last but not least, I'm going to take the Oakland Raiders reluctantly to win over the Denver Broncos. I think they're going to be rejuvenated. A new season with Antonio Brown should be on the team. I think right now they made enough additions to get this job done. Oakland did defeat Denver last time at Oakland last season. They're improved this time, and I think they can do it again with a better team with Oakland. It's a new they're rejuvenated, they're revived, they will get the job done and take care of Denver. I believe Von Miller is one of the bright spots for Denver, but I don't think there's much else with them. I think they're going to try to get Derek Carr to try to get to him, try to get him frazzled and flustered, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So I'll take an Oakland to win at home.